your achievements, your appreciations recorded in such a way that they are AI enabled lawyer. Just imagine how it will revolutionize our law firms or entities or the decision making.
A couple of days back, I read an article from Harvard saying that in the last 12 months, there is a 30% decline on three category of jobs, especially.
To the sector or to the segment which is impacting you, you should be prepared. When I say prepared, your learning curves. This is the exact nut which we are breaking. We are now in an incubation.
The last 5 years, the job description's length is
Electronic brains will over dominate our human brains, so that
Yes.
should not be the case. We are scared of that these things will go wrong. Then you will never be able. Betterment is a process which will always happen. When there were pros and cons for green revolution, industrial revolution, computer revolution, for sure there will be something else coming for AI revolution as well.
a decade back, or even just more than that, we used to have somebody called subject matter expert. Hello viewers, welcome back to Neighborhood Talks. In today's episode of Neighborhood Talks, we're thrilled to welcome our neighbor Mr. Ramgopal Neerkonda, who is a seasoned technology leader from the MEA region. Ramgopal has been at the forefront in developing cutting-edge telecom solutions. He played a pivotal role in executing large complex deliverables in the telecom region. Ramgopal brings expertise in areas like business development, solution architecting through innovative deliverable models. His dedication in empowering teams and giving opportunity to the next generation by ensuring that they take calculated risks and also giving them proper guidance to ensure that they excel in their every step of their careers. And in the previous episode of Ram, we have explored his career path and how he has been at where he is currently. In today's episode of Neighborhood Talks, we would like to understand his commitment towards the deliverables and how he manages large complex deliverables and large team. That's what we have discussed in length in this episode, and we've also covered a lot of revolution, starting from the green revolution to latest AI revolution and the impacts these kind of revolutions bring to the world. Let's jump in. Hi Ram.
Hi, Venki.
Welcome back to Neighborhood Talks.
Thank you.
So how are you, Ram?
I'm good, Venki. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. We're doing good. So
Nice to know that.
So how did you travel? I heard that you just landed yesterday.
Yes, Venki. I completed one large project and then I took an immediate flight then. And
Okay.
I'm back in Hyderabad yesterday here.
What is your role exactly that is enabling you to travel all these countries?
See, I manage an application development and maintenance. So I'm the head of the department comprising of around 160 applications.
Yeah.
So this is what we usually do. We do development, test and release.
Yeah, last time when we have discussed, you said your team size is 170 plus,
Yes.
and you manage 40 plus source code applications,
Yes.
application source code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you have large teams at that volumes, how difficult it is for you to manage and communicate with all of those teams?
See, basically we have structured out Venki. Like if suppose you take my department, it has been structured out in three different forms. One we deal with the waterfall model, and the other one we deal with agile,
Okay.
and then we have the strategics program.
How difficult it is to manage different teams following different models? So adaptability for you, your adaptability with these three different strategies with the different teams, how do you manage that?
See, basically how it works is, if there are requirements which are coming from business, and then we have these structured teams, right? We do have a checkpoint somewhere, and then we decide whether these requirements should flow in via agile or then to a waterfall, or might it need a complete strategic project to address those requirements. So what I mean to say is, requirements are the ones which will connect or derive on which form it has to be executed.
Okay. So when you have quite a long team, definitely you'll be ending up having a lot of calls lot of mail chains, throwing up at you. So how do you manage? How do you, because I definitely feel that a lot of a major chunk of your daily 8 hours will be should be allocated for communicating with all these teams. So how do you manage the communication?
You are true. Like I get a bombing of emails, like
Yeah.
multiple emails, right? So what we do, or what we used to do, uh, manually, like we used to read lot of emails, go through the complete chain
Yeah.
of the email, understand where it has gone wrong, or why this escalation has ended up at my desk. So now maybe hopefully, or like what is happening in recent times, right? We do get our Microsoft Copilot, which is supporting me to do my work.
Oh.
And at, like if you ask me what percentage of work it is taking, like I can say at least 30% it offloaded my daily task. So out
Okay.
of my 8 hours, yeah, like the email job have been 30% offloaded to the Copilot.
Oh,
It is now writing, it is now drafting me some things, summarizing for me, so it's helping me in that way.
that's very good actually. So you mean to say that AI integrations are helping you to offload a lot of work of you?
Yeah, see, obviously, right? See, we do have that tool ready now. Earlier, the case was different. Earlier, everything has to be done manually, understand manually,
Yes,
or
yes.
we might even end up calling that particular person to know the background of that particular topic. But now, with help of AI, I can see that we are actually getting benefit of those tools.
Yeah. Even I have noticed in my line of work that earlier we used to have someone who used to write down the meeting notes,
Correct.
to summarize, to
Yes,
schedule, to send a mail, and to track all those
exactly.
checklists, but task lists. But now we have an AI bot which will run the meeting,
Correct.
which will listen,
Prepare a
summarize the
transcript.
conversation.
Prepare a
Yes,
transcript.
yes.
Record the MOM,
It is
and
even creating the tasks automatically in
yes,
logging in Zira. So
true.
that is, see, these things are definitely offloading a major chunk of your work where your actual presence is not that required. See, you don't have to
Correct.
listen, write a mail and all that. So that portion is fine. But how far this AI integrations is helping you offload your development work or logical work?
That's what, see, development work, if you ask me, basically the analysis work or the execution work. See, how, what we do actually in the development, we try to understand a certain design and then code for addressing the design, like,
Yes,
or which is interlinked to that particular requirement.
yes.
So now, if suppose there are certain tools, or maybe AI or any other tool, which can do that analysis for us in place
Mm.
of human, if there is other system or application which is trying to help us understand and analyze it for us, then it will obviously take some portion of the work. Then comes to the coding, the actual where we actually put our fingers on and start typing hash include studio.h, right? So what I'm saying is, even that particular portion is also being developed by the bot or
Yeah.
the AI. So it's up to us how carefully we use the tool to get the actual work done. When I mean to say the actual work done, how we connect that design to the like bringing down to the development. So we, there is always a scope, there is always what we say, to have that better development or error less or error. It will obviously help us in doing this task.
So, see, AI is definitely setting its footprint in lot of areas of work, your communication, or even your development, logical management skills, decision making, and on also things. So it's definitely revolutionizing a lot of things in the world. So till where, till what extent, or to what all domains, or to what all areas this is going to revolutionize?
That's what, Venki. See, when you ask AI in the fields, I would say it's on the entire human life. Reason why I'm saying it is impacting the entire living, or why it is revolutionizing our existence or human life, is that it has an impact on multiple fields. Like if
Hmm.
suppose we just spoke about the development, and we do know that RPS are there, release process are automated or AI enabled. So let us spare a second out of software. I mean to say out of the daily SDLC. If suppose you see a law means law related areas. Reason why I am picking up this topic, recently 2 days back I read a news that Chandra Chudu, he's interacting with an AI lawyer,
AI lawyer, yes.
and I was really blown away. Reason being, CGI is coming, Chief Justice of India is coming and talking to a AI-enabled lawyer. Just imagine how it will revolutionize our law forms or entities or the decision-making areas.
So I just wanted to interrupt. Sorry. So see, if we've been hearing, or it's fact, or we've been hearing that a lot of cases are pending. Okay, we hear that at every court there'll be piles of files which are pending from decades. So do you think that bringing in AI into this law firms will help judges or lawyers to expedite?
See, this is exactly the problem we need to solve, right? This is the exact nut which we are breaking. The point is, we do have a demand, which means there are files piled up.
Yes.
Who is going to come and resolve? See, there is a decision making required. There is a case which needs to be built. There is a judgment which needs to come on that case. So, if you ask me, AI will exactly start helping us there.
Yeah.
All our pending cases will start moving, and all the process which is behind or in the law firm will start getting streamlined. Obviously, it's evident, right, that if there is another person supporting our what we say, like decision making or case filing scenario, obviously we see the output, better output.
But I wanted to understand the downside of it, because see, technology always has its pros and cons. It's like it's always a two sides of a coin. So we're talking about the pros a lot. We are witnessing the pros a lot. But especially if you take about the medical field or law firms, these kind of fields, I tend to see the other side of the coin, because if you try to integrate AI much into this decision making, don't you think a lot of misuse will happen?
That's what, Venki. See, we are now in an incubation phase, which means we are starting, means what we say, witnessing the yields of AI. So, what will happen or what might happen in my perception is that there will be some quality gates which will creep into the system, and then they will start having that balance checks. Maybe not everything will be AI. There will be manual interventions where it needs, or the final check will be done by the manual person. So there will some other gates, quality gate which comes in, and they will do that necessary correction. If suppose the course corrections are not in place, right, what will happen? We all will be lizard. There will be no manual work at all. Electronic brains will over dominate our human brains. So that should not be the case. That should not be the case at any point of time. Like, we are also witnessing the driverless cars. There were accidents happening in San Francisco, Waymo, if I am not sure. That is the first AI enabled car. So all these things, right? Do you think, okay, if suppose we are scared of that these things will go wrong, then you will never be able to witness the next evolution which is happening, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we need to be like conscious and to adapt. If not, you will never see the beauty of that evolution at all. You will never experience it.
So last time when we were discussing on this topic in the last earlier when we had our discussion, so you were talking about how we are witnessing the AI revolution and its evolution. So can we have a light on that? Can you throw a light on that?
See, we were talking about this AI evolution, or what people are saying revolution, whatever term it might be. I'm not specific about the term, but we have been witnessing this journey. Why? Because we are there in it.
Yes.
We are seeing it. If suppose you speak about or you talk about anything which have happened earlier, like let me talk about green revolution. Suppose example, our fathers have experienced that revolution. What was done at that point of time? Green revolution, until then there was always fields were being plowed with the normal seeding. Commercial cropping started in green revolution. Machineries were put in place to increase the yields. Why? Because see, there was always a better way to do, or betterment is a process which will always happen, right? So for the larger yields or the greater output, our generation then, like where our fathers or forefathers have witnessed, they have gone through that revolution process. And then it came for an industrial revolution. where the demand was growing very high. There was a shortage of supply, maybe in a processed food or the yields which comes from the machine, or even the clothing. If you ask me about the clothing was also like scarce, means we do had a shortage of these clothes. Then the missionaries came into picture, the industrial revolution started, and then the first industry was built with jute mills in Mumbai. And eventually, like East India Company, all the British influence, everything was there, fall in place, and our output started growing. The processed food started being supplied, and then clothes, larger quantities of or volumes of clothes were made. So that is industrial revolution.
Yes.
Then what happened, when we were in school, or maybe a bit earlier, we saw computer revolution. What is
Yeah.
that computer revolution? We were never even, at least we were never even believing that computer can be affordable for a normal life. Room sized computers are what we were reading in our childhood, right?
Yes.
And then computers became affordable. It started creeping into the work or the normal existence of life. We now, do you imagine that there is no laptop or computer in any home? It just became like another TV. So
Yes.
there is a computer revolution also happened. It started becoming part of our life very much. Then now what we speak is about AI revolution. We are now in the process of it, we are in the transition actually. So
Yes.
this transition, like you said earlier, what are the pros and cons, all this will come. When there were pros and cons for green revolution, industrial revolution, computer revolution, for sure there will be something else coming for AI revolution as well. And what I believe it, there will be certain gates which will come and will solve our problems.
Exactly. So, yeah, we are witnessing it. That's why we were worried about its cons. Pros are there. We are, reaping the benefits of the pros, but somewhere in the back of the mind, so the disadvantage or the cons that we call are definitely, putting some barrier. Okay, barrier. A decade back, or even just more than that, we used to have somebody called subject matter experts, like somebody who's expert in .NET, somebody who's expert in Java, or somebody who's expert in databases, and like. And then the 5 years, starting from 5 to 6 years ago, we have been hearing about something called full stack. Okay, so what do you think is next?
See, okay, you already started with on the middle ground actually. SMEs are a middle ground. If
Hmm.
you ask me where we have started, Java developer, and then about .NET developer, a basic one stack, one application engineer. And eventually where we shifted to SMEs is for the experience they carry, or for the subject matter expert. The reason why we call him expert is there might be certain scenarios or incidents in his experience where he have solved some blockers or some critical things or some showstoppers. So this is where we started moving to an SMEs. Like there should be certain SMEs in one team, so that they will be the horses which are pulling the cart. And recently what happened, we not recently, maybe 2 3 years back, like you said, we moved to full stack developers, which means jack of all trades. People want a person who is cross skilled, at least to a certain, like database, front end, back end, and he could able to manage this. And what I envision is that we might see an AI engineer or
Hmm.
AI SME on a certain domain. Anyway, it should be a certain specific domain. But now the logical reasoning will also happen along with an AI, which means that person should be capable enough to use this AI tool to deliver. This is what I am seeing. Like that is what I am foreseeing that will happen. It should be a journey which is always upward.
With this advanced 5G technologies, right? Telecommunication companies are, chunking their major revenues from data. So what are the main things that are consuming this data?
See, consuming data, everything is consuming data. If you ask me what are that streams, every single thing now which is running on your mobile or at your home or whatever service which you are consuming, everything is running over data now. Maybe even the phone call, voice over LTE.
Yes.
Okay, so voice or Wi-Fi calling. Now there was another thing which we are selling is Wi-Fi calling. Point what I'm trying to say is, see, when the data chunks, right, we are even opening a B2B market. Like your data, YouTube is being completely streamed on data. Facebook, Instagram, forget about the social networking, even the other corporate business, even the IoTs which we are selling for oil refineries or for any electric cars, everything is running over a 5G data or 5G network. Obviously, right, when our business cases are increasing in a certain domain, it is bound that we see a upward shift on consuming these technologies or the bandwidths.
With this development of AI and the rise in technologies of IoTs, so the connection between AI and IoTs, how this is going to shape up?
See, IoT is there like since some time, like maybe at least 5 years back, we were listening about the smart homes and
Yes.
deploying IoTs in, like I said, right, oil refineries. What used to happen is those were sensors placed at certain location, and they used to communicate back to the person. Like they were always communicating, right? Those sensors were feeding some events regularly using our telecommunication, wireless telecommunication. Now, with that data, AI can analyze and build patterns or suggest something, proactive detection. So, what I believe is that AI, when it is like mixed with the IoT, it can give us a better use cases. Like we might see something which will auto analyze, auto work. See, AI, what we are intent to do is that the analytic part which needs human intervention has been cut down, and everything will be shaped up or done by AI machine, AI engine. This is what will happen. So all the data what we get from IoTs will be processed by AI itself. There will not be any human intervention required, is what I am thinking, and a proactive alarming for sure.
See, you're talking about the IoTs in the oil refineries, right? Middle East is completely has major of its revenue in the oil refinery. Okay, so how IoTs are redefining the oil refinery space?
Middle East and oil refineries, right? It was a very old tendency. Now I could see Middle East is investing in all the different streams. Like
Okay.
even for matter of fact, there was an agriculture setup in UAE for certain steps. And during the COVID, also Qatar they brought down 4,000 cows and they started dairy and all this. For see, the Middle East also banking is very strong.
Mm.
Their financial systems are very strong. So it's not only oil refinery, but they also starting on the multiple other industries. But to answer your question, right, IoTs, when it was not there, let us speak with and
Yeah, that's
without.
what I want to
That's
understand.
what. See, let us talk about with and without. If when there were no IoTs, right, there used to be a manual setup, like deployed in oil refineries which are offshore, like not having any presence on the sea or somewhere else. And it's a tedious job, right? Somebody has to sit there, do monitoring. It's just for monitoring, ensure that my refineries are safe and doing some small task there. Now, with the deployment of IoTs, we have avoided the hazardous work environments where we need not be in mid of the sea or somewhere outside inhabited land. So, these all are some benefits which we are getting with IoT.
AI is setting its footprint in wide variety of areas, right? So, and there is a misconception in in the large number of people that this AI will result in cut down of a larger portion of jobs. So, how far do you think it is true?
That's what, Venki. Maybe let me tell you like this. So, what happens is there were always some myths behind it. Why I would say this, like every single person, right, when we visit a doctor, even now doctor started asking, did you Google and found this out? So what we intend to do is, see, basically AI or even some other information, right, it is like pre-trained information. There is nothing that which can only AI do, is my belief. Like why I'm saying is, it can do a logical reasoning or analytic and all this stuff, but there should always be a manual stuff like this. And if you ask me, will they cut down the jobs? For sure it cannot cut down, but it can optimize the throughput of a job. Like I said, right, lawyers we discussed, and even the doctors cannot be replaced. Doctors are always required to diagnose your, or maybe if I say again diagnose, you would say AI has already diagnosed 5 years upfront the cancer. It's not the intention. The point is, it will help us do. It will always be like a co-pilot, where Microsoft has rightly coined as co-pilot, right? They will always be there, and for sure there should not be any destruction as such to the wider job market. That's what I feel.
In the last 5 years, the job description's length is picking up. Okay, if whatever the job you see, the expectations, the description is nothing but the expectations from the employees, right? The expectations is too huge. Do you think AI will also be part of the descriptions?
For sure, no, Venki. See, now what is happening, we, it's as a gradual process, right? We have also been shifting, right, from a manual and let me take a car, then you will I'll be able to explain you better. If suppose there was a manual transmission, then semi-automatic transmission, now AMTs complete, and now driverless cars. So we are even evolving in every aspect of it, not only about jobs. So you think of like a human life, in every aspect of our life we do evolve accordingly. The job description, reason why I'm saying job description, right? Job descriptions are lengthy is not the point. Jobs are demanding areas, multiple areas. Like, suppose you are buying a mobile phone, you do also check, right? I have this voice recording, I have automatic AI enabled. Now that Samsung Galaxy series are AI enabled.
Enable,
Why
yes.
do you prefer AI enabled? Why? Because you knew that these features might be useful at certain event of your life, or maybe certain event of your daily task. So it's always good to have everything, and at certain occasions or at certain events you are always need the certain tools. In the similar way, job description, though it demand varied or like vast skills, it doesn't mean that you use it every day. There will be certain occasions where it is required, and you cannot turn blank at that point of time, right? That's why we do have uh, maybe complex job descriptions.
Job descriptions, as we said, as we discussed, job descriptions are nothing but the expectations from the employees by the company, right? So because of these expectations, because of change in technologies, and now AI coming into the picture, and it is setting its footprint in wide variety of areas, this is somehow leading to pressure. Somehow I see that a lot of pressure is being accumulated on the employees. Okay, how do you think someone can handle this kind of pressure?
Let me make it simple for you. Okay. So there were days when we used to plow our land with bullocks, and then there were tractors invented, and then we started using tractors for land cultivation. So, do you think that farmers then were having peer pressure or work pressure for doing the task while they are plowing the land? See, it's not about getting pressurized, it's about adapting to the new technology or the new tool which is there in the ecosystem. While we are not being in a position to contribute, we should be at least in a position to get the yield of the tool or the technology, right? That's what I'm trying to correlate. See, what happens is, if suppose you are not adapting rapidly to the evolving technologies, you are there somewhere not able to accustom to the culture which is growing, right? So what will happen is, the other person, when they were like having a skills which are AI enabled, or he might be using AI in his daily work, or there might be certain scenarios where one person is taking edge of the latest technologies, the other person want to not deliver like the other person. Why? Because the one who is enabled with the latest technologies will deliver faster, and these are the people who are like trendsetters or torchbearers for the other set of people, right? The team is mix of all the engineers, like fingers in the hand. There will be, means our team is a mix of people. So always what we need to do is, there should be a inclination for learning. When I say learning, right, if you adapt quickly, then the early you adapt, the better position you are in not getting this tracks to pressurizing. Like, you will not get pressurized because of work, or maybe because of peer. That's what I feel.
See, you're talking about the peer pressure, right? See, there are two kinds of pressure. That's what I feel. One is the peer pressure, which is within the work, within your work settings. The other one is the work life balance pressure, where you will not be able to balance your work and your personal life. And this work life balance pressure, to be very frank, has reduced a little bit with the introduction of work from home. Because of this, lot of married women A lot of mothers were able to balance their work life and personal life better. But lately, the companies are switching back to the old days mode, like pre-COVID mode. Companies are calling the employees back to work. Okay, so again, somehow I see that the work-life balance pressure will keep rising up. How do you think, or what do you think somebody should do? One should do to balance these two pressures.
So, Venki, you have fired a very lengthy question. Let me answer it in two parts. Okay. The first part, what I'm trying to answer is, see, uh, peer pressure or the work pressure or versus pressure. They're interrelated. They're correlated. Reason why I'm saying is, see, if suppose you are alone and you do not have a supporting system behind, which is your team, then obviously what we need, we'll run out of ideas or we'll run out of some innovative step which will is required. And when you are working as a team, there will always be a supporting hand or a thought or some way out of solving the problem. So these pressures will reduce if you work as a team, and in the team there will always be a person who is rapidly adapting to technologies or maybe taking the edge of those learnings what he had, or maybe automation or whatever aspect of it. The person who is adapting rapidly will be of help when you are having that pressure, right? So this way you can always work as a team, learn from the team and move forward. This will solve your peer pressure or work pressure. What is missing is the part one answer. Like what I'm trying to say is your teamwork, your togetherness, your bonding, and to be like see what will happen is the productivity, right? The quality of the productivity will drop down. Reason being, you are not with your team. You will hang out for a coffee with your team member, and then you will start, like what we say, we build together, right? There were emotions connected, there were team, there were multiple others than work. So when we are working from home, all the other aspects will all are diluting or getting dissolved, and hence your team bonding is becoming
Yes.
weak. This is one aspect I see. And then many people have started working for multiple companies, which we call as moonlighting.
Moonlighting,
So this
sunlighting.
moonlighting, what, see, it's not something that when you have a capacity to work and monetize yourself, then obviously tend to do. But the problem what I'm saying is unintentionally or unknowingly they welcome the other pressures.
Throughout this entire discussion, I began to understand that you have a very in-depth knowledge about a lot of technologies, and at your workplace also you were using multiple technologies, advanced technologies, and a wide spectrum you have covered. I would like to understand at what age your interest in technology has sparked.
When it started is way back, then you might need to even go back or to a schooling age. See,
Okay.
I've grown up on my uncle's house. So my brother-in-law or whoever is related to me, right, they were studying computers or even deployed to jobs in US, Australia, Singapore when I was 7, like when I'm studying my 7th, sorry. So there used to be that compact monitors and all that, and I used to just observe them. And that's how what fascinated me, like okay, there is something happening uh, in between just to play the Dave game. So that's how it used to be. And then somehow it influenced my life. Then I started growing that interest in me. We, like whenever I see, right, how this gets created, how they programmed it, or how it is working, these are the curious questions which I used to ask myself. And eventually it landed up, like I, with help of my sister who is there in my uncle's house, she joined me in a C programming course during our 10th exam break. We used to have a 2 months break then.
Yes.
So she put me in a C programming course. And then there is one more interest came in how to build these programs, what will happen if we know these programs or learn these programs, what will be my end road. So this is how I started getting that interest in the programming, just about the programming. So after that we joined intermediate. I took up MPC, and then I studied my computers IT in Vizag. And then there was a off campus driven, I'm just jumping into the fourth year. Why? Because there is a curious step happened in my life.
Okay.
Okay, so what happened was we got an internship program for a company called Converges. There was a off campus drive announced
For internship.
for internship throughout Andhra. I
Okay.
don't know, like there were massive crowd turned up. There are the colleges at that point, right? On campus, off campus used to be the like what we say, the hyper word. So every person from the Andhra Pradesh, right, they started coming to this off campus. There were approximately 20,000 registrations done, and they shortlisted some candidates out of 2000, or maybe 20 people got selected. And we that was the first time when I traveled from Visakhapatnam to Hyderabad for my intern job.
In which semester?
This is in 4-1, by end of 4-1. Why? Because the 4-2, right, it is about lab programming and semi project or demi project. We used to have one small mini project.
Mini project.
Sorry, it's mini project. So I did my mini project from Hyderabad.
Oh,
So we started our job 6 months upfront before
even
getting
before
released.
completing your graduation.
Yes. And in between, I had to go complete my graduation and get that original degree back to office.
So from internship directly they hired you into the company.
Yeah. See, we were given a job.
Okay.
So I was deputed into a job even before completing our graduation.
Okay, that's
Okay.
wonderful.
So we started our job with the marks we secured from all the previous semesters, right? And I was shortlisted for that job. And from then, like we start our job programming, a training, post examinations before we get into at. If you remember Infosys, Converges, and all these companies, right, they were very particular about this scores, and we used to be even laid off if we are not performing well on that post examination.
Yes.
So this is where our foundations have been laid down for this technical layer.
See now, this in which year all this happened?
2009 December.
2009. Okay, see, 15 years down the lane, you've been managing a very large team. You've been directly dealing with the customers. You've been traveling to multiple countries. If you have to go back to your early days of career, what are the learnings, and what is that excited you when you first stepped into the organization, and what is the difference that you've observed back from 2009 to 2024?
The short fill in the blank answer is salary. Why? Because reason being, we were never having any money in hand, right? We are always dependent on parents for getting some money. So the first job always is the, what we say, paradigm shift of our life. So we started getting some money in hand. Anyway, is to just to answer. See, what I was thinking. At that point of time, right, we always used to be fascinated on how a corporate company deals with us. There will be etiquette training first. I remember dressing etiquette, behavioral etiquette, how you need to behave with peers. So all these basic trainings, and then technical trainings. After the technical trainings, BU allocations, like which department you want to work, is that you need to present yourself in a single slider, and then that particular department heads used to allocate us for our job. So those are all the initial days how we used to thrive to perform. Why? Because we used to learn so much and wait for an opportunity to show that. So this is how my initial day started. And once we allocate into a project, like how it starts, there will be tasks coming in and you need to execute the task in a given time.
So Ram, that's how you started your interest into the IT industry, technology, and then you stepped into your first IT company. So when you entered, or during the initial phase of your career, what is the one thing that has most excited you?
One thing, if you ask one thing, see, basically what I like in professional setup, what I've been, uh, first thing is the appreciation which motivates me, and then the appraisal systems, which also has the monetary benefit of it. But the appraisal system, reason being, maybe in government, I'm not sure whether in government industries we do have these appraisal systems or not, but for sure in private industries, right? So in private industries, when all our year long work is recorded, we have midterms, year end appraisals, right? we do get a valuable feedback from our mentors or our leader or managers. So we do receive our feedback, which means we always get something in return in the area of improvements where we need to course correct our career. So I always wanted this something to motivate me or something to challenge me, and these appraisal systems, what I feel, is a uh, nicest way to course correct our career. And once I noticed that these appraisals are the game which we need to tackle, I ensured that I topped almost all my ratings throughout my career.
Currently, you're working in a complete on-site model, like all your employees are present at the on-site, right? As we have discussed last time. So now, what kind of challenges do you face?
That's what each model has its pros and cons, Venki. If suppose when we are dealing with on-site offshore model, we do have some benefits of it. When we are dealing with on-site model, I would say like it's good for one party, but there are also cons for on-site delivery model as well. Reason why I'm saying this, the customer whom we are talking about is also at on-site, right? So the expectation of customer will also have that. Presence back of their mind, like okay, my resources or my staff or my army is completely at on-site, and we can expect something can happen at at a rapid speed, is what the thought process behind this. If suppose you are at offsite, we have a leverage, we do have our own like timing or work hours or maybe holidays, and there is no presence of customer at offshore, which means the urgency to address those requirements is not there, or at least you have a shock absorber called on site to deal with customer.
Yeah.
Okay, but when it comes to on site, you are that person who is sitting in front of customer. You need to be like on the toes to deliver to the customer. This is what I feel like, whether it's on site or offshore, they do have their own cons and pros.
How the talent hunt happens?
Earlier, the previous stage of talent hunt, it used to be through social portals or any other companies which used to pool the resourcing and supply to the talent management, right? But now what I observe, the person who is hiring or the person who is looking for a job are readily available on LinkedIn. See,
Yeah,
I am hiring hashtag, I am for a job,
looking for
looking
a
for a
job.
job. These are the indicators which tells that within your connected connections. So if suppose you know that this is the job which is coming, you can always think that okay, this person is looking for a job or this person is hiring, which means I know that these are the technologies or stacks which he is operating with. So we can correlate, right? Okay, and believe me, LinkedIn is another platform where I see that this job hunt or talent acquisition will be based on eventually.
So you mean to say that LinkedIn plays a very prominent role in the modern day recruitment, right? So what one needs to do to ensure that their profile is properly maintained on LinkedIn?
Venki, when an individual or a person is maintaining their Instagram for every single event of the life or single event of, if you go for a birthday party, you'll have a reel on your Instagram. If you go visit a nice place, you'll put up a photo in Instagram, and we carve for these likes or attention in the in the platform, right? So eventually what means, what happens is, if you are having that preparation for your social events in your life, why not for your professional events on LinkedIn? When you get some appreciation, when you get some pat on the back award, when you get some thumbs up award, all these awards you can go record in your LinkedIn, right? That will be the platform where it has all your professional events recorded. If it happens, believe me, I came to know that even the talent acquisition group, right, go through their social profiles and see what they do, or how they post, what comments they do. So maintaining a professional profile and even being conscious on the social platforms is very much needed, is what I believe. And it's obvious, right, when all of us are connected, our circles are connected, our companies, previous company, past company, and the existing company, all these employees are connected together. So you need to be conscious, you need to be careful. And what I recommend is to have your achievements, your appreciations recorded in such a way that they are making your profile stand out anytime.
So you mean to say that LinkedIn is your new resume?
Obviously, I feel that I do sense that it will be much better. And if not, that's the case, our CEO, Microsoft CEO would not have purchased it, right? And
Exactly.
integrated with our Microsoft suite, Microsoft Office.
When we're talking about talent hunt, see, a couple of days back, I read an article from Harvard saying that in the last 12 months, there is a 30% decline on three category of jobs, especially your content writing and your image creation, content design, and then your coding. In these three categories, there is a 30% decline in the jobs according to their article. So, what one needs to do, or where is this driving?
See, Venki, how I see, basically, the jobs which were there, which doesn't demand too much of logical thinking or too much of analytical reasoning behind it, will be first hit. I would not say that AI will cut down your jobs, but AI will push your boundaries very high. It will push you so hard that if you are not adapting to the technology, you will be behind, left behind. This is what I feel. Reason why I'm saying this, if suppose you see, right, the calculator era, or like last time which we discussed, there used to be people who maintain these ledgers and all this stuff, right? And even once the calculator was invented, they were all scared of this job. It doesn't mean that they lose their job. They could not, or they were not able to adapt to this calculator initially. But now everything got digitized. Forget about even calculator, everything got digitized. So the same thing goes for AI also. Which jobs are being cut? If you ask me, translator jobs, like you said, content writing. These are the jobs. See, who used to hire content writers? The person who is very busy in his decision making used to have a steno, PA, content writer, and all this stuff. These jobs are not heavy engineering jobs. These jobs are basic jobs. So basic jobs are the first target for AI. Reason being, it doesn't need Gen AI capabilities in it. It's normal. LLMs will do that. Why? Because the combinations are, or the logical reasoning is very easy in it. It's arranging the words or bringing what we say, AI stuff, right? It is very easy for them to tackle these jobs. But what I uh, envision is, this Gen AI is also growing. Even the CEO is resigned, saying that the, what we say, end of AI is something which we cannot imagine. Why? Because it's also learning like human. It's there. It is also getting this large data feeded and evolving day by day. So passing maybe year on year, the what we say, complexity of the jobs it tackles will also grow, and the journey of AI is only upwards. That is what I feel.
Ram, I want to discuss about startup culture actually. See, startup culture was there from more than a decade ago, but from last few years, this has boomed like or bombarded like anything. These startups are turning into unicorns at a very faster rate compared to earlier. I heard about a recent startup which took only less than a year and a half to turn it into $1 billion company. What is that these guys these startups are doing which is enabling them to expand or to grow at a very faster rate?
What I tend to see, or what, like, maybe these are like some interconnections for all the AI, or maybe some digitization which is happening behind. When the legacy companies took a lot of time, there were a lot of people required. There are a lot of resources required. Maybe in terms of human resource, financial resources, process. There are multiple things which a company has to have or to be maintained to get these things done, right? But in recent time, what is that required for a company to start, or the startup culture? If suppose he has a workable idea or a business idea, we need not worry about multiple roles. Why? Because your idea is so strong and your idea has that potential. Then you can, with help of AI. Now if I correct, I even saw in particular news that every single job for a startup can be replaced by an AI, which means that you need not build your content, you need not worry about your process, you need not worry about what software it is required. Why? Because there were already pre-generated softwares available. You take whatever it is, like e-commerce or food or whatever it is, so the softwares are already there. Only thing what is need is that business idea which will connect all the systems, and the resources are very much less required compared to the previous stages of our business. So due to this, when the initial capital and resources are required in lower quantity, your throughput or the output of the startup will start coming to the market easily. Your MVP will be out. Once your MVP will be out, it gains attention. Once it gains attention, it starts revenue. It Once it starts generating revenue, and to become a unicorn, if your idea has that potential, believe me, getting into that layer of unicorns is a easy nut to crack.
In this regards only, what recently I have watched somewhere or heard somewhere, which says that X is preparing a product, okay, Y is delivering the product for Z, who is ordering that product. But the benefits of this entire process is being reaped by a person called A, who just coined that idea and made it possible.
See, that's what exactly I'm telling you. The person A has that idea on how to use B, C, and D. Why? Because the A's value is more here. You are thinking in a terms of doing the hard work. No, there is a smart work of A on how to monetize or how to bring B, C, D together. B might be preparing only the logistics, A might be the actual person who's preparing the goods, and C might be the platform who is actually doing the billing and all the other stuff. But A has that idea on how to use B, C, D, and for that particular reason he stands tall compared to all that other person. So business idea is one which will make the contender strong. Let me give you an example. Suppose take an app called Food Panda. Do you think that Food Panda will prepare the food? No, right? What does Food Panda app does? It go take one nice popular kitchen, Subbaraidu hotel or somewhere else, and it brings you to the end customer. It serves as a platform. It allows you to open to the entire city. So how do you see this? If it is the only the hotel which is selling, you cannot make this business. You can never scale up to this volume. So Food Panda is trying to enable you to the entire city, and hence you are getting your extra orders. That is the only reason why he is selling to Food Panda at a concessioned price, is that he is giving you more business. The revenue, once it starts increasing, right, he will have leverage to give discounts, attract more customers, and that's how they grow. So this is what I'm trying to say. The person who has an idea which can utilize other vendors is more powerful than a single potential customer. You will always have that merit, you will always have that goodwill, but never you can bring your revenue out unless until you have the right platform. This is why I'm saying person who has the logical or business idea will stand tall.
In this entire chain, what is happening is, see, because of this fast paced deliveries or offers like get your pizza in 30 minutes or it is free, or get your phone or get your groceries delivered in 10 minutes, the one person that is taking the most hit in this entire chain is the on ground delivery persons.
When we started with this e-commerce related platforms, right, first platform is the availability. You are never knowing that there is some, what we say, most famous sweet shop right beside your street, or there might be some other thing which you need from Jagdish market, or we never have a single system which solved your availability problem. But e-commerce had shown us a way. It started fixing your availability issue, and eventually it opened varied or variety of catalogs. Product catalog started growing. Once you open your app or website, there were multiple what we say items, or what we say, you can browse through, get whatever you want at a tip of your finger. So it solved your availability issue. It started increasing your what we say product catalog, and it started solving some problems. Right now, when we speak, the marketing teams want to attract. So when what there should be a buzzy words, or there should be words which are coined, like, right, like you rightly said, get your pizza in 30 minutes or take it for free. What they are trying to do, they are trying to register in your mind that these things will happen so quick.
Yes, yes.
Right. So how is it happening? Technology has supported them back end. IT has been the enabler, giving you all that required platform. We solved that problem, and then there were days where systems used to go down because of the load. We have,
Exactly. Yes.
I need not tell you about the Redmi phones incidents, right?
Yes.
So that was also fixed. So logistic issues usually take time. Why? Because there is a process which needs to be built in, and it also has a commercial impact of increasing resources. So companies do take some time, but what I believe is even this problem will be fixed.
We have discussed a wide spectrum of topics in the last 1 hour. See, with this enormous growth in technologies, rapid growth in technologies, and these startups bringing in, quicker availability, the faster availability, quicker deliveries, and with timeline crunches and the expectations from the customers impacting your project deliverable timelines. With all this happening around at a very faster rate, how one individual needs to prepare himself in this fast growing settings?
uh, Venki, may, if suppose I need to answer this, what I would say, the first important thing for an individual is awareness. If you are not aware what is happening, there is no way. It is like turning a blind eye to the problem. So one should be always aware, and to the sector or to the segment which is impacting you, you should be prepared. When I say prepared, your learning curves, your adaptability to the technology should be so high, or maybe at least somewhere, if you are conscious about it, that I need to be prepared in these aspects, you will start accustomed to that ecosystem. If not, what will happen is you will start pressurized yourself. So this is what I see, like you need to adapt, the rapid adaptability, what I say. And then it's how you react to that problem, it's how you fix that problem. If suppose you are fixing it right, the RCA is identified and fixed, your problem will not reoccur. That's how we see, right? Even in a product bug, similarly even in the life system, if suppose you prepare well, you are aware of what is happening around, and you groom yourself to the market, you can always stay ahead of the system. That's how well you need to be groomed yourself in the society. This what even helped me as an individual, though my role doesn't demand knowing many things. I try to be aware as much as possible. If you ask me, are you like the expert of it? No, but I'm aware of it. I can learn what I need. I can spend time where it is required. So it's my way of seeing the problem.
Wonderful, Ram. It was a very wonderful discussion that we had, and you've brought in a lot of insights in a wide variety of topics, I could say. A very heartfelt thanks for you from on behalf of Neighborhood Talks for accepting our invite, and then coming down to our studio for at another brainstorming session.
The pleasure is mine, Venki. I was really happy and surprised to receive your invitation, and I was curious, like, or even like I was not skeptical. Like I want to prepare myself. Like, what should this interview be, or what it will means, how my connections will think through it. So I was also a bit what we say surprised, like how it will go. Maybe he will roast me on a seat with all that fireside chat questions. So this is all multiple things which are running behind my brain. But after coming here, the journey, the insights, or the way you are firing questions at me, all were really went well, and it was like a roller coaster ride for me. You took me back to seventh standard programming till my on-site journeys and all these customer duties. This was really happy, and the main motto of the channel is which is what had actually impressed me a lot. uh, Uncommon path of a common man, that coined And maybe I'm not sure, you are also coined my session as breaking barriers. This might be the reason behind it. I'm really happy. Pleasure is all mine. Thanks for hosting me. It's nice to spend some time with you. I really like this, Venki. So even I like the viewers, or I would request the viewers connections to like, subscribe, and share, and to encourage this channel so that it will reach the widespread of audience.